Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again. Real Kids TV in the house like motherfucking kitchen sinks. You heard me? Stand up. We gonna get turned today. Oh, I got a story. I got a story for y'all's asses today. Pause. Double pause. For you all that's never frequented the channel, understand that I'm the self-proclaimed Mr. 30 Minutes or Better. Meaning that anytime I bring you a story, a video, it's guaranteed to be 30 minutes or better. So if you're on your way to work, you're at work, you just don't feel like being there, you're on your way home from work, you need to lay down, take a nap, you need to, you're trying to go to sleep at night, depending on, you know, whatever time you're viewing or listening to the video, you need to laugh, you need to cry. Or perhaps you're just in the mood for a good old-fashioned true, keyword being true, penitentiary / real life / life experience story is the channel for you. So if you like the 8, 10, 12, 15-minute videos, absolutely nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But at Real Kids TV, we keeps it real and we keeps it 30 minutes or better. So with all that being said, there is a message. Got a young man by the name of Aaron. Aaron was a little white dude, probably 20, I want to say about 21, 22, maybe 23, somewhere right around in that age frame, if you will. About 5'7". No, he wasn't 5'11". He's about 5'7", weighing in at no more than maybe 150 pounds. Had like the little fade or whatever. Actually, I'm gonna tell you who he looked like. I'm gonna tell you exactly what they used to call him. His name was Aaron, but they used to call him John B. So we're just gonna refer to him as John B. You know, the R&B singer John B. For you all that's not familiar, Google John B. And you'll see exactly what he looks like. I may put him in the thumbnail. I don't know. I might not. I haven't done a thumbnail yet. Looked identical to John B. Now, John B, obviously, he's an R&B singer, and he was a successful singer. Aaron aspired to be a rapper. Now, absolutely no discrimination whatsoever, but I got to keep it real. I got to call a spade a spade. A lot of times when white guys try to rap, they get a harder, you know, people don't really take them as serious opposed to the black dudes that try to rap. And half the time, the black dudes that's trying to rap, they ain't did all that stuff they talking about. Matter of fact, it's more than half the time. The majority of the time, all that killing and shoot 'em up, bang, bang, and I got my strap, and I got my Draco, and I shot 15 people yesterday, and man, they ain't did all that. It's entertainment. They talking it, but they haven't done it. But yet, when the white dude tries to rap, it's a problem. Eminem, they don't take Eminem serious. Eminem, to me, in my eyes, and I've been following hip-hop for a lot of years, since the 80s. Eminem he's definitely in my top 3, and he might be #1. I mean, because when you really, really think about it, and I don't want to get too far off subject, so all of this is going to correlate, and it's going to make sense when it's all said and done. But let's talk facts. Let's talk facts for a second here. If it's not Eminem, then who is it? Who does things so much better than Eminem to where it's like, you know what, man? Nah, M can't fool with him. Not like other rappers. I like Jay-Z, but he really doesn't rap anymore. Lil Wayne, yeah, Lil Wayne is that guy. So I would put him and, you know, Lil Wayne and Eminem kind of like neck and neck. I like Kendrick Lamar. I like J. Cole. I like all these, but they haven't, their body of work isn't large enough. Tupac, Biggie Smalls, all them guys is cool, but their body of work is not comparing to Eminem and Lil Wayne. So in my eyes, Lil Wayne, Eminem, and I would say Jay-Z are probably my top 3. It's just me personally. So I say all of that to say, you know, white guys just really have a hard time in the industry as far as rap. Because, again, nobody wants to take you serious. Nobody wants to take them serious. And that was an issue that Aaron, sometimes I may refer to him as Aaron. Sometimes I may refer to him as R&B. It's kind of hard to remember, you know, go back and forth, what have you. And so, you know, Aaron, he was really, really striving. And, you know, he hung around with all his whole crew was black. Everybody that he kicked it with, they were all black dudes. Had a couple white buddies, but, you know, he's in the streets, but nobody's really giving him that respect. He's a little dude. He ain't really done too much in the streets. He comes from a decent family. But that side, he's not really connected to that side as much as he's connected to his friends and being in the streets. Now, when he's in the streets, he's not like out killing people or unaliving people or, you know, selling dope on the block, anything like that. But he's intrigued. The allure of the streets just has his mind just so focused and just in this direction that over here, it's not even a consideration. He's coming up through the ranks, if you will, as far as, you know, getting his respect. He's battling people. Now, one thing about Aaron / John B, off the top of the dome, man, he could freestyle about anything. It didn't matter. It would be like, man, talk about that red box over there. You know, and then he would just right off the top, and not just like for 30 or 40 seconds. He might rap for 5 minutes straight. You know? And so he was really, really, I used to look at him, I'm like, man, this dude is cold, man. This dude is cold for real. But because of his skin color, they didn't want to give him that prop. Yeah, he's all right, man. But, you know, he ain't, you know, the things that he's talking about or whatever. So I correlate that with Eminem. They don't want to give Eminem his props. Why? Because he was raised in a trailer park. What's the difference between the trailer park at 8 Mile, where he was raised at, and the projects, the hood? What's the difference? Because he wasn't raised in your hood? Because he wasn't raised in your sort of hood, your type of hood? That Eminem is not that guy. He still went through struggles. He still went through hard times. He just wasn't on the block selling dope. He chose to, you know, try to get him a job and you know, when that wasn't really working out, not necessarily working out, but it wasn't his dream. It wasn't his ambition. He understood that, you know what, man, God gave me a gift and I have to go after my gift, man. I have to go after it. But because he's not talking about slinging rocks, you know, kicking it on the block. He's not talking about gunning people down, how many brides he done knocked off. I don't relate to him. I can't relate to him, no, but everybody can relate, because guess what? Most people grew up poor. That's in that genre, that's in that lifestyle, that sort of music. Most people grew up poor. That's just the way that it is, in the hood, the projects, whatever. Aaron becomes frustrated. He starts to carry a gun. He's not a felon. He's not a criminal or anything, so he can do that. But yet at the same time, he's doing so just to protect himself because, you know, you got haters. He beat somebody in a cipher. He beat somebody in a battle. And all a cipher is, for you all that are not familiar, it's just a battle, a rap battle. You know, it may be Aaron against this guy. And, you know, the whole crowd, and they judge who wins and who won. You know, that's all a cipher is. They refused that his name was ringing in the streets, but at the same time, people were still trying to, you know, kick him down. He ain't done nothing. You know, he ain't done nothing out here in these streets, man. He ain't did nothing. Aaron was having a hard time, didn't really want to ask his family for anything because they had kind of semi-cut him off because he didn't want to do what they wanted him to do. So it's like, okay, well, you don't want to go to school. You don't want to figure it out on your own. Okay, cool. So now I'm in the streets, but I'm in the streets, you know, I still got a little job, but I'm rhyming. I'm not in the streets like that. One night he's with a couple of his partners. They getting ready to go, you know, pull a caper. One of his partners tries to look at him. Hey, Aaron, come on, man. We're going to drop Aaron off, man. Yeah, Aaron ain't for this. This ain't for you, bro. Nah, I'm with y'all, man. I'm with you. Bro, this ain't even for you, man. You know what I'm saying? This is what we really do. We live this. This is what we really do. Not to disrespect you or anything of sorts, if you will. But this is what we do. Here y'all go with this again, man. Here y'all go with this because I'm white. Here you go with the racist stuff, man. Here you go with the racist stuff. You know, everybody jumps on him or whatever. He's the only white dude in the crew. They love him to death, but they really trying to protect him. Okay, you want to get down? You really want to get down? Well, let's get down then. They go pull a move. They kick the door in or whatever. They pull the caper. They get whatever they going to get. The jewelry, the drugs, the money or whatever. Now, they thinking, one would reasonably think, okay, you robbing a dope man, you should be safe. I mean, you the dope man, you handle court in the streets, right? You don't go and talk to the police. Well, no, not this particular individual. They went in, dude ended up going to the police, telling all of the whole crew got arrested, ended up getting sentenced. 10 years in the pen. Just a regular 10 years. Now, the difference between a regular 10 years and a violent 10 years for robbery is if you get a violent 10 years, you do 85% of your time before you're eligible for parole. So it will be 8.5 years. But if you just get a regular 10 that's considered non-violent, you do 2 years to the parole board, then you have an opportunity to get out. Well, you're going to get sent behind that wall 9 times out of 10, even with the regular 10-year non-violent robbery charge. Aaron gets, ends up getting sent behind the walls, behind them gates. Lions, tigers, goons, birds, gorillas, hyenas, whatever you want to, dog eat dog. Penitentiary, man. That's just what it is. Lifers. People 40, 50 years, 85%, man. They're not caring about anything. Anything goes. Anything goes in the penitentiary. Y'all rock with me, man. Y'all let me know where you chiming in from. I'm in Lexington, Kentucky, man. Y'all get with me while I, take me a little sippy sip and let me know where you chiming in from, man. Shout out to all the truck drivers, man. I know the weather's terrible. Shout out to all the people that's in Florida and the hurricanes and praying for you, man. And I hope that you all make it and come through or what have you. But truck drivers, man, we need you all. We appreciate you. A lot of people don't understand how vital of a job that is, and I'm gonna address the truck drivers in every video. Come on, kids, you keep addressing the truck drivers in every video. Get to the story, motherfucker. Listen, man, this is part of the story, and part of my story is addressing the truck drivers. Just think, when you order something on Amazon, when you order something off of any sort of site, and you want it the next day because you're trying to get to that party or that event or what have you, how you think you're gonna get it the next day if it's not for the truck drivers? How you think you're going to get it the next day when the truck drivers go through all this tumultuous weather, the hurricanes, the storms, the winter storms, the snow, the ice? So we must pay homage to our truck drivers. Mad love to you. Salute to anybody. Everybody's out there getting it. I don't care if you're DoorDashing, if you're Ubering. I don't care if you delivering newspapers in the morning, if you're flipping pizzas, if you're flipping burgers, you working the fry machines at McDonald's or Wendy's, or you emptying out the garbage cans, you're mopping the floors, you're sweeping the floors. Everybody is important. Everybody. Understand, because where you are right now don't mean that you have to end up that way. That's just where you are for right now. It's a season, man. It's a season. So I have to throw that inspirational message, affirmation, if you will, in there. So like I said, they pulled a cable. They end up getting the 10 years. I know Aaron ended up getting 10 years. So that's where I ended up meeting Aaron at Green River. Green River Correctional Complex. It's in Kentucky. I don't remember what city it's in. You can Google it. But I know it's far from Lexington. It's about 4 hours. Green River was going down when I got there. It was going down, man. Dudes was getting stabbed. The Muslims was fighting. They was getting into it with, I don't remember exactly who it was. It was the Muslims and the vice lords. They was going through it. And, man, it was penitentiary, man. It's just what it was, man. So I find myself in this environment, and it's just like, wow, what have I gotten myself into again? I mean, Green River was considered to be like a laid-back situation. It's not like you're going to Eastern, the Pink Palace. Now, if you was going to Eastern, a.k.a. the Pink Palace, it goes down. But in all actuality, it goes down in every penitentiary. That's just the fact of the matter. Aaron arrives at the penitentiary. Now, I always tell you all about the Grey Goose. The Grey Goose in Kentucky is just a bus. It's a prison bus. Some places, I know they call it the Early Bird. Some places, everybody has a different name. But in Kentucky, we call it the Grey Goose. You all seen the prison movies to where they're riding through the country roads and they playing the country music or whatever in the background. And everybody's on the bus just looking out the window and you just see nothing but land. And it's the Grey Goose. Once the Grey Goose lands and you arrive in prison, everybody's sitting in R&D. That's the place where you go to get your property and get checked in, and they check your property in, and you get your coats and your pants and your boots and R&D. That's what they call it. Your toilet paper, everything that you need. You have to go through R&D first. Everybody's waiting at R&D now. Not literally everybody, but you're gonna have a group of people. They know which day that the Grey Goose is landing, so they sitting there and they waiting. Anybody that comes off the Grey Goose, they kind of scoping out. That's my dog. Hey, my dog, over here, man. Yeah, what's up, my dude? Nothing like seeing a familiar place, or a familiar face, rather, when you're in that penitentiary. When you arrive to that penitentiary, I don't care who you are, people act like as though, oh, man, I got to the joint, man. I wasn't nervous at all. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. You have some individuals that are so heavily into the streets, so engulfed into the streets, that once they get to the joint, it ain't nothing, because that respect that they had in the streets, it kind of spills over to prison. So people already know that you're coming. They know that you're going to arrive a couple of days before, maybe a day or two before you even get there. So when you see big dude get off the bus and he was a hitter in the streets, he was respected. My dog, come on over here with us. Or, you know, you might have a particular hood that you grew up in. Yeah. But when you get off that bus, such as Aaron did, nobody really knew Aaron like that, because when he got to prison, everybody got separated. It's not like, okay, well, 4 or 5 people's on my case, so we all go to prison together. Sometimes you might get lucky and 1 or 2 of you all might go. And then, you know, over time, you'll probably end up, you know, reconnecting. Maybe not everybody, but 1, 2, 3 of you all. But initially, there's so many prisons. Understand, locking people up is a business. So people are building private prisons every single day. They have to keep these prisons filled. So guess what? They have to make more arrests. That's just the way that it works. Aaron finds himself lions, tigers, and bears. Belly of the beast. All by itself. He doesn't really know anybody. As I mentioned, Aaron is only about 5'7", 150, 160 pounds. You know, he's been doing push-ups in the county or whatever. You know, he was kind of cut up. You know, he was, you know, jeans or what have you. But that don't mean nothing in prison, especially when you by yourself. They peeping him out. They're going to watch you for a few days, maybe a week or so. You know, see how much you're getting on the phone. See how often you're going to commissary. See how often you're on the JPay machine. The JPay machine, for y'all that don't know, it's just a machine that's literally like literally on the wall. You know, mounted on the wall, and you get on there and you do your emails, or you can send pictures, you can receive emails, you can get on the phone and do video visits. They're like $15, $20 a visit for like 15 minutes, but if you choose to do so. And when people send you money, you jump on the JPay machine to see if your money has, you know, been credited to your account. Once it has, okay, boom, jump on there. Then they got a kiosk on the wall. You order your commissary. That's how it is in Kentucky anyway. And so, you know, they scoping him out, they peeping him out, and his people are looking out for him. Although they told him they was going to make him learn the hard way, they got him an attorney. They're making sure that he has money. So they sending him, you know, $125, $150 a week is nothing to someone that has money. Not saying these people was rich, but, you know, a mother's always going to make sure her son's okay if she possibly can. So, you know, she's sending him money. Family's looking out or whatever. Everything's cool with him. So he thought. Had an individual on the yard, man. Big D. Big Douglas was his name, but, you know, a lot of people called him Big D. I never really had to deal with the man, so I never really had to call him anything. When I seen him, you know, it was just, you know, kept it moving. What up? Kept it moving. So although the yard called him Big D, I'm going to refer to him as Big Douglas, because I'm a grown-ass man. And I'm not going to be calling another dude Big D, especially in penitentiary. Big D! What up, Big D? Nah. Nah, it's just not gonna go that way. Big Douglas, black dude. Big black dude. Nah, he wasn't 5'11". He was much bigger than 5'11". He was about 6'3". He was a gorilla. Bald head. Probably had to be at least 250, 260. I'm not too good with the weight, but he was a big dude. Big D. Been locked up for a lot of years, in and out of the system, in and out of the pen. Matter of fact, see, I just did it. So we gonna Big Douglas. That's the manual rewind for you all that are not familiar and don't frequent the channel. Sometimes I just don't feel like editing my videos. I get a little lazy. So instead of taking that part out, guess what? I'll just do the manual rewind, man. You know, the same one that Hassan Campbell, he stole my manual rewind, allegedly. And so, Big Douglas had a life sentence, but he had the type of life sentence that life doesn't always mean life. See, in Kentucky, you can catch a life sentence, but still get parole. Now, if you get life without, then it means what it says. But you can have a life sentence, which means you do 25 years and you go up for parole and you have an opportunity to get out. If you don't get out, they may say, okay, come back and see us in 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, or whatever. You come back and see them, okay, give us another 18 months. So it's one of those situations. Big Douglas had a life sentence. Now, the thing about Big Douglas was this. Big Douglas was a bandit. He was a booty bandit. He was a booty bandit. Here you go, Kens, with the booty bandit stories. Here you go. What do you want me to do? Prison is full of booty bandits. What do you want me to do? I have to tell you, I want the real, right? So I have to give you the real. Big Douglas was a booty bandit. One key thing about Big Douglas that you all are not familiar with at this juncture of the story. Big Douglas was blind. Big Douglas was legally blind. A legally blind booty bandit in prison. Now, I know you laugh. No, come on, kids. You're going too far, man. You acting like Dante from the Dante Show Network. Shout out to my dog Dante from the Dante Show Network. But you acting like Dante now. Come on, Kens, man. There's no possible way. How you going to be a booty bandit and he's blind, man? Come on, Kens. I was rocking with you before that. Come on, Kens. Simmer down. Simmer down. See, Big Douglas, over the years, you know, he was dealing with his sugar and diabetes and things of that nature. So he was legally blind. He could see, but I guess whatever the threshold is to be considered not blind, you know, you got regular sight and you got legally blind. He was legally blind. Even though he could see, again, he was considered legally blind. So we had like the little walking stick that you see people walking. Man, that's so crazy because I be feeling bad, man. I see people walking with the walking stick and they be tapping the ground or whatever. And they just be like in the middle of the parking lot or in the middle of the street. And them guys and them women, they really be knowing where they going. But I just look at them and I'm like, wow. We think that we have life hard. We think that we have it so tough. Imagine being in their shoes. Having to fend for yourself. Some of them have the little dogs, you know, that kind of help guide them or what have you. So that's why a lot of times, Kens, why are you in such a good mood all the time? And for y'all that don't know, this is me all the time. All day, every day. No days off. First Buick. Because I've been to the dark side. I understand what Diddy is going through. I understand just being incarcerated. So when you out and you can do and move and you have your health, you better be happy. What is there to complain about? That's just the way that I view things. Big Douglas, legally blind, but yet he's a booty bandit. Now, Big Douglas received a check every month. So once he received his check, I guess he had it set up somehow to where his money would hit his account every month. He's well off in prison. See, on the streets, he would probably be considered as, I guess, poor, if that's even a category. I guess that it is. But in the penitentiary, when you got $1,500, $2,000 a month or more, oh man, you are living it up. Now, I don't desire to be in that predicament, that situation. But that was the situation that Big Douglas was in. You can only spend like $125 a week. So what's that, $500 a month? Then there's a couple of extra things you can order, like pizza, steaks, chicken meals, and things of that nature. You might spend an additional $200 a month. So that's $600, $700 a month. Then you're going to spend a couple hundred on the phone. But you making $2,000 a month. You get a check for $2,000 a month. So you penitentiary rich. You got your TV. You got all your jogging suits. You can have like 3 jogging suits. You can have 2 pair of tennis shoes. Really, most people have more, but legally, you're supposed to only have 2 pair of tennis shoes. You can have your back then, CD player, all the CDs that you want. You got your hot pot, so you don't really have to leave your cell. You can cook everything in your hot pot. Well, how do you cook everything? First of all, Kens, what is a hot pot? A hot pot is just basically just like a little pot, and it's plastic. You put your water in it, and it heats your water up. Well, Kens, how do you... I mean, some of us haven't been to prison, Kens. How do you cook your food in a hot pot that just heats up water? It's not a stove. It's not a skillet. It's not a frying pan. It's not a grill. So come on, Kens. Kens. You take a potato chip bag, right, that you bought off commissary. Say you bought you some barbecue chips, Doritos. I'm gonna tell you the hot cheese puffs. In prison, oh man, you might get unalived for those. Yeah, the jalapeno hot cheese puffs. Oh, y'all let me know if you've been to prison before. If you're familiar, you don't necessarily have to have gone to prison, but if you're familiar with the hot cheese puffs, let me know in the comment section. But you'll take a bag of that magnitude. Say you're trying to fix you some banquet chicken. Put your chicken in a bag, tie it up, put a rubber band around it, make sure it's sealed. Drop that son bitch, put that son bitch in the hot pot where the water's boiling. Oh my goodness. How Fleece Johnson say when he's talking about what's more important than water in his eyes? Oh my God. That's what when Fleece gets to talking about what's more important than water, his mind just, oh my goodness. Well, I'm going to say, oh my goodness, because when you put that banquet chicken in there, and it's better than the microwave, it takes longer, but when it comes out, ain't no grease or anything. So that's how you heat your food up. Never really have to leave your cell. And so, excuse me, he had all of the items that you could possibly need. He had the freak books. Freak books is another big thing in prison. Back then, they had, I don't know if they still have the freak books. You get a freak book and you rent them out. Hey, bro, let me get that freak book for a day, man. Give me $5. Bro, let me get that freak book for a couple hours. $3. People take the freak books, do whatever they gonna do, but when they return them freak books back, better not be a page missing, and them pages better not be sticking together. And I'm sure you all can use your imagination of why the pages could potentially be sticking together. I need my book back the way that I handed it out. Everything you could possibly want. I'm sure you all get the gist of what I'm saying at this point. But I'm trying to paint a picture for you all that's never been to prison. Big Douglas had it. Had everything. Now, the reason me telling you all about his finances is because he had a couple people on his payroll. On his payroll, Ken? Yeah, on his payroll. Meaning that they had like a little system. So when people would come to the prison off the Grey Goose and they were in his dorm, hey, y'all let me know, let me know who's who. Let me know the individuals that's just fending for themselves on the yard and they not really rocking with anybody. And even if they are, let me know which crew they rocking with, because sometimes you might just be rocking with a couple people, but they not really, they not really on the violence, man. See, the thing about prisons, the number one thing that people understand and respect in prison is violence, immediate violence, man. It's like a military mind game, man. But it's violence, man. It's just what it is. Talking. I mean, if you do this next time, I'm going to do that. Yeah, talk me to death. Violence is what's respected and understood in prison. Now, I don't advocate anyone to be violent whatsoever, man, because this is not prison. You are not in prison anymore, Damon. But at the same time, in prison is a totally different world. Now, violence will end up getting you more time. But it'll get you respect on the yard just as well. So obviously you want to try to avoid any sort of altercations, but sometimes you just can't. And that was a situation that Ern was in, a.k.a. John B. Big Douglas had the, and the reason that I hesitate sometimes, because really in my mind I keep wanting to say Big D, pause, double pause, because I was so used to hearing that, so I have to kind of catch myself and say Big Douglas. So he had these individuals that, he was paying, and, it was sort of like bring them to me. And they ran kind of like a little scheme. They ran game. Big D had, see, I did it again. Let's rewind. Big Douglas had someone that was kind of, not necessarily catered to him, but he had an individual that was assigned to him. So some days he would go out on the yard and, he would use his walking stick or whatever. But some days he didn't feel like it, or the weather was bad. He would be in a wheelchair and he would have somebody to push him. Well, that's a job in prison. That's literally a job. Pushing someone's wheelchair. Now you see me with this towel because I got my windows cracked and I don't want to turn the air on while I'm doing my video. So we're getting some of the weather, some of the rain from the hurricane. And I got my window cracked, but yet it's still raining inside of the vehicle. Not too much, but a little bit. So, you know, I'm wiping my dash down or whatever. So, mind me not. What was I talking about? I don't forget what I was talking about. Oh, yeah. And so, you know, he had an individual that was assigned to him, and they would get paid $30, $35 a month, and that was their job. Anytime Big Douglas needed to go to medical, get his pills, he wanted to go to commissary, he wanted to go to the gym, visit, whatever the case may be, and he didn't feel like walking, he has an individual that will push him in the wheelchair, and they get paid every month. These individuals that was on Big Douglas's payroll, you know, I don't know what he gave them every month, but it was like, hey, this is the guy to go see. You know, if you need anything, if you need anything whatsoever, you know, you need some hygiene, you need some food, you need some advice, you need anything, and I do mean anything. Name's Jingling, Jingling, Jingling. Yeah, one of those type individuals. Now, obviously that doesn't work with everybody. It's just the individuals that wasn't connected, that wasn't, you know, didn't really have a crew. Aaron was sent over to Big Douglas. What's up, OG? Hey, how you doing, young man? Now, keep in mind, he's legally blind, but he's not all the way blind. Just because you're legally blind, he could still see, just couldn't really see colors. It was kind of blurry. He had some good days, some, you know, not so good days. But he could still see. It's not like he was just, you know, walking around and he couldn't see anything. He could see, you know, can't see shit out of this thing. I can't see, you can't see. Only thing that matters is the horse can see, and that's a raid. Sorry, I watched Django last night, and that movie makes me laugh so much. My wife spent all day making masks for 35 you sons of bitches, and this is the thing she gets. Don't ask me and mine for nothing. We all think the mask was a good idea. Not to point the finger, could have been done better. So, this time, we'll go without the mask. But next time, we'll use the mask. A little humor for you. So, Aaron gets sent over to Big Douglas. And, yeah, OG, man, I'm waiting on my money to arrive or whatever. I heard you was the guy to see. Yeah, son, no problem. What do you need? Everything you need. He got everything. Now, Kens, I do want to ask you this. Why is it that it seems like I've watched your stories and your videos, and it seems as though every time you describe a booty bandit, it always starts with big this, big that, Big Douglas. Because most booty bandits, when you think a booty bandit is 5'5", most booty bandits take advantage of their size. They're big. Not saying that just because you're big, you're a booty bandit. I'm just saying most people have been bullies their entire lives. They've been bigger than everybody. So it's always like penitentiary. It's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're not a booty bandit, you 6'3", 6'4", you're a big dude. And your name is Todd. What up, Big Todd? You might not even go by Big Todd. But hey, what up, Big Todd? That's just the way that the penitentiary works. Aaron goes in, he borrows all of the items that he wants to borrow. He's waiting on his money to arrive. Kind of like Big Rufus. The story of, I told you all about Big Rufus. If you're not familiar, go back on my channel and watch the story of Big Rufus. I just dropped that video not long ago. I don't know if it was a week ago. I know it's been within the last couple weeks. You get your money, you happy, you go to the kiosk, you order everything that you owe, plus you pay your taxes. You got to pay your taxes now. You borrow $15, you're not going to just go pay, $15 back. You're going to pay back, 25, 30, whatever the agreement was. Aaron gets everything that he owes. He goes back. What's up, Big Douglas? Now he's feeling, he kind of got like a little swag about himself because he got everything that he needs. When you first go to prison, a lot of times you probably don't have nothing. You don't have no deodorant. You have no real soap, no real toothpaste, no nothing. So if you don't have no people sending you money on the streets, man, you are messed around. So for any of y'all that have people in prison or, some loved ones, friends, man, send them some money, man. If you can, if you're capable, send them some money because you need money in prison and you need it on a regular basis. Not to say that you owe them anything, you have to take care of them, but, send them a nice little amount so they can, get the things that they need. He goes back in to pay Big Douglas off. Big Douglas is all a ploy. It's all a plot. It was all a setup. Takes everything out of his bag. You got like the little laundry bags with the holes in them. Takes everything out of his bag, sits it on. Okay, OG, I got this. Here go. Because, you know, keep in mind, he doesn't understand that Big Douglas can see. Can't fully see, but he can see. I like to see. Big Douglas knows what he's laying on the bed. But he's sizing him up. Aaron doesn't even realize it. Aaron doesn't even understand that he's about to be prey. Takes everything out of the bag. He's standing, okay. Big Doug, hey, come here for a second. I need you to, you know, grab this for me. No problem. Nobody's informed Aaron. He hasn't even been on the prison yard nothing but a couple weeks. 2.5 weeks. Nobody has informed him that this individual is a booty bandit. This game being ran in prison, man. It's a dog-eat-dog world. Y'all think I'm just on here just telling these stories just to be telling them, making them up? It's a dog-eat-dog world in prison. Not knowing certain states, like they say California, booty bandits and all that stuff. No, they're not having it. Doesn't exist. And I wish it was like that everywhere. There should be no booty bandits in no prison. Nobody should allow that. But the fact remains is, there is. He's sizing him up. Aaron gets closer. Mind you, Aaron's only 5'7", maybe 5'6". This dude's a gorilla, but he's blind. He's blind. Been in penitentiary, got a life sentence. Aaron comes closer. Come closer. Come closer. Aaron come closer. I need you to grab something for me. No pun intended. Come closer. He comes closer. Boom! Man. Hits Aaron so hard. Come on, kids. Were you there? Was there a camera? No, but I got the story. Okay, let me quarterback this, man. All right, let me quarterback this. Let my plan lane before you haters start to. Most people don't hate on my channel. I get a whole lot of love, but it's always some haters, man. Let my plane land. We don't bring luggage. We go shopping when the plane lands. So let my plane land, respectfully. Boom! Ah, man. Here's Aaron so hard. Aaron's in there doing the diddy bop. The diddy bop. You know what I'm saying? Now he's going to take him. See, his entire MO was that exact same thing that he did to Aaron, he would do to other individuals. Now, he wasn't one of those type of booty bandits. A lot of booty bandits, they just like white boys, little young white boys. This dude, man, Big Douglas, it didn't matter if he was white, if he was black, whatever. It didn't matter to him. That was the whole play. That was the whole setup. Boom! Like I said, we're going to go back. Boom! Hits him one time. Typically, once he hits you one time, you knocked out. If you're not knocked out, you on the ground, you stagnant, you grab your legs, pull you to him. He going to pull your pants down, and he gonna give you some fellatio. That was his whole thing. He wasn't going to try to infiltrate you, if you will, penetrate you, if you will, but he wanted to give you that fellatio. Is that the right word? Fellatio? Yeah, I believe, yeah, that's the right word. I had to think about it for a second. Yeah, he wanted to, you know, please you. That's what got him off, to please you, knock you out, and do the most, and please you. He had done that several times throughout the years. Again, there was a whole play. It was a setup. It was a ploy. Hits Aaron. Aaron don't fall to the ground. Aaron kind of just, when he gets hit, he kind of goes up against the wall. So he's still kind of, you know, he's seeing stars. He's kind of, you know, he's trying to come out of it. He's trying to come to, but he done just got hit with this gorilla, by this gorilla, man. And let me tell you all that I didn't tell you previously about Lil Aaron. Look, Aaron, Bishop Rushman. Yeah, Lil Aaron, nothing. Pay me no mind, man. Aaron got so tired of being kind of chumped out in the streets that Aaron had started taking boxing and MMA lessons and didn't tell anybody. Nobody knew that Aaron was taking boxing and MMA lessons. And he had been doing so for like 4 years. Even once he caught the case, he was bonded out by his parents. He continued to go and take lessons, boxing and MMA. Nobody in the world knew Aaron had hands. I'm sure like a couple of his close buddies knew. But from what Aaron was telling me, he didn't really tell anybody. Because it was one of those things to where I don't want to start any trouble with anybody. I don't want no beef. I don't want no problems. But I want to be able to defend myself if somebody runs up on me. So at 5'6", 5'7", 150, 160 pounds at best, Aaron knew how to use his hands. Aaron knew how to use his legs. Big Douglas, he sees fresh meat. He thinks that he got him one. Fish on the line. He really in his mind, he's excited. He thinks that he has him another one. Aaron's up against the wall. John B, a.k.a. John B. I don't care what the people say. However the song went. So he's up against the wall, but he's trying to come to or whatever. Big D's walking towards him. Big Douglas, rather, is walking towards. Every time I say Big D, I'm going to rewind. Big Douglas is walking towards him. Got his hands out. About to grab him. Like he's a Michael Myers or somebody. Aaron has enough wherewithal to kind of come to his senses. He's used to being hit. He's been taking lessons. He goes to training and they get kicked. They get, all of it, even though they wear headgear. See, the human body, the human face, head, or whatever you want to call it, if you're not a boxer, if you're not a fighter, you're not really used to getting hit. So you're probably going to go to sleep or you're going to be out of it. Not old Aaron. Not old Aaron. So Aaron, once he sees that he's in danger, he senses that he's in danger, Big Douglas is walking towards him. Boom, 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 boom. He takes off on him. I'm talking about he's throwing from the shoulders, man. Again, it's the story that he's telling me. Boom, boom, boom. He's throwing. He gets Big Douglas up off of him. Now, obviously, Big Douglas is going to try to grab him. He's stunned now. He don't know what's going on. Big Douglas ain't used to nobody fighting back. Big Douglas is really stunned. Like he don't know where he's at. Yeah. Congratulations. He don't know if he's at a concert. He don't know if he's at the window. Yeah, let me get a number 6. Let me get a extra wrench. He don't know where he's at. He's stunned. But yet he's trying to hold on. He's trying to grab Aaron and a.k.a. John B. And he's still taking off on him. Boom, boom, boom. And he knows how to use his legs. He's kneeling. Bam, bam, bam. So they fighting. Oh, man, it's crazy. It's like on Batman, man. Bing, bop, boom, boom, bop, beep, beep, beep. All the sounds that you hear. So next thing you know, he finally gets a hold of him. So when he gets a hold of him, he's weighs like double his size, twice his size. Big Douglas is twice Aaron's size. They're wrestling around the room or whatever. Now, as they go backwards, they go through the door. Kens, how they go through the door? I thought you just said, I just caught you up, Kens. They're in a cell. Yeah, a cell's not a cell as though you would see on TV. Some are, but most cells are not bars. It's a door. You see what I'm saying? It's literally a door. You don't have to click if you don't pull the door all the way shut, the door is still like kind of cracked. Now, if you pull it all the way shut, you got to get the CO to pop the door for you. Or sometimes you may be able to, you may have a key to the door. It just depends on what sort of cell that you're in. These particular cells, the CO would have to pop the door for you. Well, he never pulled the door all the way shut when he came into the cell. The momentum of an individual that's 250 that has an individual that's 150, obviously, they go through the door. They go through the door. It's probably, once they go through the door, it's probably maybe 3 feet. I want to say about 3 feet. It's a rail right there. They get to the rail. Once they get to the rail, Aaron's back is on the rail. He's trying to get loose, but he can't really, he can't really get loose. So he's doing whatever he can possibly do. He reaches over and he bites him. That's a trick for you all. bite a person. If you can't get somebody up off you find yourself in a situation where you're having a fight and somebody has grabbed you and you can't, bite him. Bite him. He bites him. He bites him. So now once he bites him, he backs up. He's kind of halfway in the cell at this point because it's only about 3 feet between, like I said, the rail and the cell door. He charges after him again. When I say he, meaning Big Douglas charges after Little Aaron again. Little Aaron sidesteps him. When he sidesteps him, he kind of like goes over the rail. But when he goes over the rail, he's like hanging on. He's not all the way over the rail, but he's kind of like hanging. Now, he's not hanging at this point from the rail, but like he's kind of half his body is over the rail. Everybody's watching. You know, in the penitentiary movies, to where you might see people on the 5th or 6th tier and papers flying everywhere and confetti, and you got guys, yeah, get him, yeah. You know, everybody's at the bottom of the cell, like on the main floor or whatever, and they cheering. And it wasn't quite that situation, but it was a lot of people down there, and they was, you know, kind of, yeah. Lil Aaron, man, didn't stop. He's drilling him. He's drilling him to the point to where down Big D, rewind. Big Douglas is hanging from the he's hanging from the tier. He's stomping him. Now he's stomping his hands, just like on the movies. He's hanging. He's only 150, 160 pounds though. So now he's stomping his hands, because he knew that dude was trying to take him. Big Douglas held on as long as he possibly could. He falls. Oh! He falls. He lands on the table. Table, I think, is the only thing that saved him. Now, when I heard the story, it kind of had me intrigued, because it was just like, why? Okay, my thing is this. What I didn't understand is, if you're legally blind, why aren't you on the bottom floor? Why would you be on the 2nd tier? Even though the 2nd tier wasn't very high up, you still have to go upstairs every day. Well, the story that I got, the explanation that I got back, is that he had already been on the 2nd tier before he was declared legally blind, and he was perfectly fine. And they had like a ramp for the individuals that, you know, because you might not always have room on the 1st floor. Well, typically you're going to take somebody's cell, but it's kind of up to you if you want to do so. So they have an elevator and they have a ramp for you but it's only for the individuals that can't really use the stairs like that. So it was his choice to stay on the 2nd tier, but the 2nd tier wasn't very high, and that's the only thing that really saved. Yeah, the table saved him as well, because he landed on the table and then proceeded to hit the floor. Everybody's cheering. Get him. The COs come in. They grab Aaron up as though he's a mass murderer or somebody like that. All he was doing was protecting himself, protecting his cheeks. Well, not necessarily his cheeks in this particular situation, but protecting himself because he didn't want to get fellatio from another man. Medical comes in, may make everybody lock the whole unit down, lock the whole yard down, make everybody go into their cells or whatever. It's talk of the yard, man. Talk of the yard. Obviously, they take Aaron to the hole. Everybody's just, they're going to charge him, man. They're going to charge him, man, attempted murder. I didn't know if they would quite charge him or not, because, he was kicking his hands and trying to make the individual fall. We are in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, so he could have potentially been charged with, at the very least, assault. Aaron ended up doing like 90 days in the hole for that. They never even charged him. They did a thorough investigation. And come to find out, this individual, because think about prison. Just because you're in prison, people talk. People, they run their mouth just as well. People tell. So some people, went to bat for Aaron evidently. Hey, this guy's a booty bandit, man. This is what he does. He tries to take advantage of younger guys that come in here that don't really, it's not affiliated with the streets. That, they don't know anybody. They may not necessarily have anything. He lures them to the cell. Nobody ever says anything, because cardinal sin in prison is snitching. That's probably the #1 cardinal sin. Stealing, snitching, same thing. You better not be no snitch in prison. Shouldn't be a snitch, period. But in prison now, if somebody's trying to take your cheeks in prison, man, hey, you do what you got to do, man. You can't allow that. You do what you got to do. Call me what you want to call me, man. You know what I mean? But it came to the staff's attention that this is just what he did. They probably already knew anyway. Not too much goes down in prison to where the staff don't know. They pretty much know every and anything that goes down in prison. He does 90 days in the hole. Ends up losing some of his good time, but it's restorable good time. So if you go for so long and you stay on the right path and don't get into any trouble, you're going to get your good time back. So out of that 10-year sentence, he ended up doing 5.5. Got a whole bunch of classes and programs, got his good time back. And old Ern is back out here on these streets. Man, I would love to get an interview with him. I know how to find him. I don't see him on a regular basis, but I believe that I could run across Aaron. I do believe that I could run across him. And if I run across him, man, I'm going to definitely let you all tell it from his point of view, from his angle, from his, I've seen him. He's told me the story. He's definitely told me the story. But when I seen him, I wasn't really doing the YouTube thing, So it was just one of those times where I seen him. It was like, yeah, man, remember that time? And I had his number at the time, but that was a long time ago, and I don't have his number at this point. But I know that I can run into him, and I know probably where to find him. What y'all learn in this video? What y'all learn by this story? Jump in the comments and let me know. The number one thing that I'm trying to get across, and you can never, ever judge a book by its cover. You would never know that this dude, man, was 5'6", 5'7", man, and had hands like that, man. This dude had hands, man. After the fact, some people told me that, he would hit that punching bag and damn near knock the whole bag off the little thing that it hangs from. Pause. Dude was powerful. And you never, ever would have guessed it. Big Douglas ran up on the wrong dude that day. Big Douglas was messed around. He cracked some bones in his back, and broke his leg and his arm, and fractured this rib, and his head was busted. Yeah, Lil Aaron had the juice. Guess you got the juice now, Lil Aaron. Imagine a dude 5'6", 5'7", 150, 160 pounds, didn't bother nobody, looked dead on John B. If you don't know who John B is, again, Google him. Or I'm going to probably put him in my thumbnail. Haven't done the thumbnail at this point. But I'm probably going to put him in my thumbnail. Dude had hands, man. Prison is a violent place. And I think that most people understand that. But I think that some people, they see so many of these prison stories. And, when people are talking about booty bandits, and it's it's kind of humorous to them. But it's not a game. I implore all of you all, show your kids this video. Any young person that you care about in your life, show them, make them sit down. No, put your phone down, put the joystick down. Come here for about, an hour or so. And I want you all to see this. Had a perfectly good kid that didn't have any sort of record, but the peer pressure. And it wasn't really even peer pressure because they were trying to calm him down. It was just one of those things where he felt as though, speaking of Aaron, he felt as though he had something to prove when he didn't have anything to prove. Your friends accepted you for who you were, dude. This wasn't one of those things where they talked him into anything. They tried to tell him, don't go. We got this. Y'all remember in the movie Boys in the Hood? When they was going to avenge Doughboy, played by Ice Cube? When they unalived his brother, Ricky? And they was going to avenge his death? And his dad was at home and he had them brass balls and he was playing with them big brass balls in his hands. Any of y'all ever play with the big brass balls and kind of, twiddle them around in your hands? Does pause even work for that? Is infinite pause enough for that? Or should I have just maybe not even said that or put that in a different manner? But that's what it was. What do you want me to say? That's what it was in the movie. That's what he was doing. And when they were going to avenge his death, Trey was thinking about all the things that his father said. Trey was thinking about all the things that he had been taught and embedded into his mind as a youth, as an adolescent, as a, you know, just coming up until he was a young man, a grown young man. And before they got there, Doe, let me out. Let me out, Doe. They cleaning their guns. They shining their guns. You seeing the rags, the blue rags, the red rags, whatever. They about to ride. Let him out. He gets back home. He walks in the door. He got the blood all on his clothes. His dad's at the door. He's just looking at him. Furious Styles. He's looking at him. Trey's looking up at his dad. Just walks in the room. Lays on the bed. Parenting. It was great parenting. He thought about, even though he was going to go in that direction, he thought about all the things that Furious Styles, his dad, had told him. And he didn't go make that move. Now, they ended up making the move, and they avenged Ricky's death. And a couple weeks later, whatever, Doughboy, played by Ice Cube, they ended up catching up with him, and he was unalived. And so he avoided a whole situation, and he was about to really get himself caught up into some gangster stuff that you know, he didn't live. He was about to get himself caught up into a whole different realm of problems. But he remembered what his dad said. Doe, as hurt as he was, as mad as he was, as vindictive as he was at that particular, Doe, let me out. Do the right thing, kids. See, all my videos are about the kids, the youth, the adolescents, the young people, anybody really that'll listen. Do the right thing simply because it's the right thing to do. Because once you hit them penitentiary walls, and you hit that penitentiary steel, man, mama can't save you, daddy can't save you, can't nobody save you, man. And it's eat or be eaten. When I tell these Fleece Johnson stories or do the reactions, come on, man, you act like Fleece is your hero. No, he's not my hero. But what you all have to understand is these stories that he's telling you are legitimate, man. Eddyville. Home of death row. Being sent there at 15, 16 years old, a maximum security prison in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. He's not making these stories up, man. We can laugh all we want. I don't agree with a lot of the things that he talks about, the topics that he tends to love to talk about. But at the same time, the violence that he speaks of, imagine your son there. Imagine that. No place to be. Real Kens TV. Hopefully you liked the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share. Subscribe to the channel. If you're not already subscribed, and be sure to hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action and this heat, you're amongst the first to receive. Yeah, when I say this heat, that's how Ern was drilling Big Douglas, man. Big Douglas didn't know what hit him. You done slid down a razor blade straight into an alcohol river, man, running up on Lil Ern. Real Kens TV, man.